Birth name, Claudette Olivia Hickman. March 27th, 1938. I was born in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
I was born Cosetta Sonara Hickman. I was born February the 8th, 1937. I think I was born in Southern Pine, North Carolina. I'm not sure whether it was Southern Pine or Winston-Salem.
Ruth Dolores Hickman. I was born May 31st, 1935, in Winston-Salem, North Carolina.
That I would share with my children or grandchildren or nieces, nephews. I would share the gift of love and the gift of giving, because I think that's very important. To be a generous person. God blesses us so that we can be a blessing, and He doesn't bless us to stockpile it and keep it to ourselves.
I want them to know that I love the Lord, that I depend on Him, and that when He blessed us to have this house, I dedicated it back to Him and told Him that, promised Him that I would never close the doors to anybody that needed refuge, and I haven't. I have fed a lot of people. I have helped to care for a lot of people. And my thing is compassion and outreach. I'm a sucker for a sob story. And if ever I thought that you needed something and I have the means to do it, I have to do it. I have to do it. So I love people. And in other words, I just love people. Especially family.
I would say be proud of who you are, because God made you uniquely. There's nobody else on earth exactly like you. And I would say to them, put the Lord first in your life, because your walk will be easier. It doesn't mean that you won't have any troubles, but He will bring you through them. And be sure to pray and be kind to people. Don't always be picking fights and mad at somebody. I'm not mad at nobody. I don't have any enemies I know of. I like people. Our whole family like people, because Pop was like that.
Yes, he was.
Pop didn't meet no stranger. Pop, hey there. My mother was a little standoffish, but I think she thought that was classy. But all of our family was a friendly family, you know. And so I would tell them to cherish the times that you have, because the foolishness that you're falling out over is stupid stuff, and you ought to try to make it up or to come back together as soon as possible. It doesn't. I can't comprehend being angry enough with my sisters that I'm not speaking to them, or that we are arguing and fussing all the time. Mm-hmm. No, so I'm not used to that, but I've seen it, and I know about it, and I know brothers and sisters and kids that don't speak to their mother. I think that's awful, and I think that you're losing a lot in life because you draw from everybody that you meet. There is something that you can learn no matter how small or how big they are, how old they are. And I didn't allow my kids to walk around not speaking to each other. You didn't do that in my house. That's your sister, and you go in there and you talk to her and you make it up and say, I'm sorry if you did something to her. Mm-hmm. You go in there and make it right.
I would just like to say that I feel better than blessed, that God blessed me with 2 beautiful daughters and 3 beautiful grandchildren, 2 grandsons and 1 granddaughter, and they have all made Don and I very proud. They have put forth their best efforts to do the work of God. They work in the church and in the community. And my daughters have brought their children up to be godly people. And that's the biggest blessing that they have showered on us.
Tell us about Uncle Don.
Don is one of the most kind, generous people that I have had a blessing of knowing. We have both spoiled each other. Neither of us would ever be worth anything to anybody else because we're our own people. And we have gotten so accustomed to each other that one can be thinking something and the other one can tell them exactly what they're thinking.
But my grandma was good. Everything centered around Mama's house. That's what my mother and my aunts called her Mama. And everything centered around Mama's house. And she didn't live far from us, so she was within walking distance up the hill a little bit. And we could go visit Grandma every day if we wanted to. Mm-hmm. And she'd always cook the best food. And everybody would go by Mama's house after church and eat on Sunday. And Grandpa, I don't care if Grandpa was eating cornbread, he said, y'all sit down and have some. He'd always invite you to the table, come and have some, and Grandma always cooked a lot. Because all of her children, including my mother, they go by Mama's house on Sunday. So we saw a lot of our grandparents. We grew up around them. And cousins, yeah.
And these are Azalee's parents, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah.
The most I miss about my childhood was growing up with one of my older sisters, Ruth, because she was the most fun to grow up with. She always had something going on. She always kept me laughing, and she was always doing things that got my attention. I learned a lot from her.
I want the Hickman legacy to be to always stay connected with each other. We have, I have great nieces and nephews that I don't know. Your kids have cousins that they don't know because the Hickman seed runs deep. We're all over the place. And if ever we had a family reunion where we could get even a quarter of the family together, we'd have to have a stadium. That's how outspread this family is. And I want them to always love each other, get to know each other if you can, and to be there for one another. Don't ever let anyone in the family come to you in need and you turn them away without helping to supply their need if you can. And that, to me, is what family is all about, because it's nothing like family. Because you never know when you're going to need anybody. So yeah, we have to keep loving one another. And don't down each other. You know, just stay connected.
The most shocking thing I've ever done in my life was to get my PhD and to graduate from undergraduate, master's, and the doctoral programs with straight A's.
All right.
In all three.
Yeah, the doctor called me. JD and I had gone to visit her the day before. And we could see she was deteriorating so bad. And JD almost got in trouble because right in front of you, the nurse told him, you're not preserving, you're not, what did she say? You're not prolonging life, you're prolonging death. And he jumped all over her because she said it in front of you. And whether you knew what she was talking about or not, we don't know. But the next day we went to visit her and we could see that she was deteriorating. And we were standing by her bed and your granddaddy, JD, said, Cosette, do something for her, do something for her. I said, JD, is nothing under God's sun that I can do for her. And Ruth was there. Ruth sat in that chair and cried like a baby, just seeing a mom and dad standing over their child like that. So that was the day that we released her and told her that it was told her that it was okay for her to leave. That Daddy and I will be all right, so you can leave. And the next morning, the doctor called to me and said, Cosette, this is Dr. Malino. He said, she's gone.
I would tell young couples getting married to understand that marriage is hard work. If you're looking for something that's easy, marriage is not for you. There's a lot of give and take. People say that marriage is a 50-50 proposition. That's the biggest lie that has ever been told. Sometimes it's 99-1, sometimes it's 50-50, sometimes it's 75-25. It's never a 50-50 proposition. And you have to learn to allow each other to be themselves. Don't look for changes for you to change the other one. Let the other person be who they are, because God made us all unique individuals, and they have talents and abilities that God may not have given us. And we're supposed to really help one another.
You want to close us out with that song?
Yeah.
Song you wrote, right?
Yeah.
All right, how does it go?
Jesus, what did you think of me that day as you hung out on Mount Calvary, as your blood streamed down for the whole wide world? I want to know, Lord, did you see me? Did you see me, dear Lord? Did you see me? As you look down through eternity, I was broken, bruised and torn when I heard that sovereign one say, just believe, my precious child, and be free. Yes, you saw me, dear Lord. Yes, you saw me as you look down through eternity. Now I'm saved and set apart in your sight, Lord, and in your heart. And I know, thanks be to God, I've been set free.